Hi everyone, my name is Baina. I'm an interior designer and virtual style coach. As an interior designer, I know it's so important to rent an apartment that has already the architectural elements that are going to enhance your design. So I'm going to cover about 10 really hideous things that you should avoid, that if you see in a rental apartment, don't rent it. Those things are going to fight against you. I understand life is both beautiful and challenging, and sometimes we're in a place in our life where you might have to rent something that's not your dream space. That's okay. I have rented a few apartments in my time that have one or two of these design crimes, but you just don't want to get a place that has 4 or 5 or more of them, okay? It is so hard to make your apartment look chic and stylish and designer with wall-to-wall carpeting. Hardwood floors just look better, okay? I will say that I don't mind wall-to-wall carpeting in a bedroom. I think it can look cozy. And I think if you have beautiful sisal wall-to-wall carpeting, that can look very chic as well. It's more high-end, okay? You're not gonna find that in a typical rental. But I would absolutely avoid renting any apartment that has wall-to-wall carpeting. I especially hate when your entry door opens right into the main room, so you're literally going from the street in shoes into a carpeted room. I don't feel like that's very sanitary, and trust me, you're not gonna be happy with that. Pony walls are these weird little half walls that are just awful. And I feel like it's from architecture that's trying to be modern. It's like bad modern from the 80s. I have literally seen a ridiculous half pony wall between the living room area and the dining room, as if you can't figure out that that's where you put the dining table. There's literally no purpose to it, and it looks absolutely ridiculous. And if you really love decorating and design, that is not going to look chic, and you're going to hate it. You're going to be frustrated. So avoid weird half pony walls that serve zero purpose like the plague, okay? Next one is ceramic tile floors. And I know I'm going to get some pushback from this because this is something you see a lot in Florida because obviously the weather, humidity, heat. I really struggle with figuring out any chic way to make those square ceramic tile floors, the squares and the black grout, look good. To me, it just looks like a dirty bathroom flooring in a living room, dining room setting from the 1980s. If you have it and you need to work with it, I think the only way to go kind of is like a sisal or a jute rug and go with that kind of like beachy theme. But if you have a choice, avoid tiled living and dining rooms. I just feel like it's a completely inappropriate material for that space. Next thing you want to avoid is gray wood floors. And I've talked a lot about that on this channel. They put this tacky gray flooring into all of their new construction. Hopefully it's starting to go away. Only choose gray floors if you like neutrals and you like cool colors. If you're a person that loves warm tone colors, jewel tones, it will never go with these gray floors. It will always look disconnected because gray flooring is very cool. So you have to have all cool neutral furniture, okay? So if that's not your vibe, avoid apartments that have gray flooring. Now, I myself rented this vintage apartment and I had an ugly dated kitchen. However, before I rented my apartment, I talked to my landlord and he was open to allowing me to make changes to that kitchen. You don't want to rent an apartment in a space that will not allow you to make those changes because most landlords really don't want you painting the kitchen cabinets. So if you tour an apartment and you see the kitchen is absolutely hideous and it would destroy you, don't rent the apartment because you're never going to be able to really do anything about that. Next thing is weird ceilings. Now, I had popcorn ceilings in my previous LA apartment, which for a lot of people is absolutely hideous. However, because I also had beautiful crown molding and high ceilings, and it was a vintage building from the 1940s, there was a lot of other beautiful architectural characteristics that actually made the popcorn ceilings not look that bad. And when I moved into that place, they also let me choose my paint color. So I told them to paint the ceiling a bright white. So I never disliked the popcorn ceiling that was in that space. But if you are renting an apartment and it has weird paneling, or oh my God, if it has those drop ceilings, which are so inappropriate for residential, they're really only appropriate for office, and I hate them there, don't rent it because what are you going to do as a renter? You're going to panel the whole ceiling and then remove it when you move out. It's better to just not take that apartment because it'll be something that bothers you and it will never allow you to truly get the look that you want. Blinds. I absolutely detest vertical blinds, and places that have vertical blinds usually have a lot of other design elements that are not ideal as well for the decorating lover, okay? When I first moved to San Francisco, I did live in this 1980s building that had wall-to-wall carpeting and vertical blinds. I took the vertical blinds down and I stored them in the garage, or you could literally store them under your bed and just put up drapes, but they're not chic, they don't look cool, they don't look designer, and they should be avoided. One thing I haven't talked a lot about on this channel is Ripplefold Drapery. Ripplefold is when you go floor to ceiling and wall to wall with drapery, and they're a really good solution for modern spaces or mid-century homes, which is modern, and that's when they were popular. Or covering an entire wall of windows where you have like a patio door of windows, maybe they're different heights. You can use Ripplefold Drapery to kind of actually camouflage a bad architectural job. But I find that homes that have vertical blinds usually have other tacky things that you just will just constantly fight against you and you won't be happy with it. Oh my God, the next one is so critical to your happiness and mental health. Don't rent apartments that are dark. Don't buy houses that are literally dark. No one wants to live in a dark space. Everybody wants light and sunny. And so it's important when you're going to rent apartments to see them during the day. Okay, don't rent an apartment at night. You need to make sure you don't have a dark apartment. And I was watching a house tour here on YouTube, and she's a big YouTuber, and she's all these, followers and everything. And she said, I love my apartment, but it's so dark. I didn't realize that. I'm a YouTuber. That's not good. Like, that's a fatal flaw. You don't want to rent dark spaces. The second place I moved to San Francisco, I found a beautiful Edwardian vintage studio, but it had a massive closet, and I turned that into my bedroom. Had every single architectural detail I would want, but it was on the second floor on the inside of the like stairwell, not stairwell, but like vestibule of the building. And so my apartment on the second floor was so dark. It was only $825 in San Francisco. It's almost impossible to find. But when I finally left that apartment and I moved to LA where it was just sunshine and warm, I was like, never again will I live in a dark apartment. Next one, we got two more. Avoid places that have mirrored walls. If you rent an apartment that has mirrored walls, I guarantee you there will be vertical blinds in that apartment. It's this bad period of architecture where it's contemporary, but it's not real modern design. And there's just a lot of bad, cheap, crappy details that go into those places. My friend in LA has like a pretty big, kind of like townhome, and she had the mirrored walls. She had these light bamboo floors that looked super dated. She had the vertical blinds. I mean, we had to do a lot, including covering those mirrored walls with a removable, paintable wallpaper, which kind of worked, but then you can't. Then you have to match the paint. It's a nightmare. Avoid mirrored walls. It usually means that there's a lot of other design things going on that are less than ideal. Avoid renting homes that have really bad layouts. When you go to rent an apartment, look in that space and just visualize. Is it logical to figure out how to lay out this living room? Or is this like a 5-pointed star triangular living room with a fireplace on an angle and just a weird short wall? Like, if you can identify immediately that layout is going to be hard to lay out, don't rent it, because you're just going to move your stuff in. Nothing is going to work. You're going to be struggling. You're never going to be happy there. So that's my list. I feel like these are all legitimate, whether you are renting an apartment or you're buying. Like I said, having one or two is fine. Look, nothing is perfect. Every single space, I don't care how rich or poor it is, has positives and negatives and challenges. That's what I love. Interior design is just beautiful problem solving, okay? So we can work with a few. However, it does help to have this information so that you can just like make your life better and easier, so that you're not always fighting against something that's not really going to fit your design aesthetic, and then you can like kind of focus more on style. That's kind of what I did in this place. I have a couple of things that are ugly. I don't like my air conditioning units in the space. I don't like that there's ceiling fans. I'm going to change one and I'm going to keep two. Okay, after listening to y'all telling me Texas is so hot. I made the changes on my kitchen because I rented a place where the landlord was cool. But just having this information just helps you get cool spaces that are easier to decorate and makes you happy, because you should be happy in your home, even if you rent, and you should invest in your space, even if you're renting. I think it's super important. So I hope you guys like the video. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. You can get mad at me if you want. I'm cool with it. But you better have a reason behind why you're defending those vertical blinds, all right? Talk to you later, guys. Thanks so much for watching. Subscribe. Peace.